All right. Hello, everyone. My name's Manny Escamilla. So I guess hi out there to Danny and the rest of the folks over at the Neighbors of Santa Ana, the News, Crime Watch, Politics, etc. group. So I'm one of the council candidates. Basically, I've lived here in Santa Ana my entire life. I graduated from middle college, high school, and ended up going over to UC Berkeley. Then transferred. So graduated from there. I got two master's degrees from UCLA, and spent the last 14 years working for the city of Santa Ana, the planning department, the library, the city manager's office, and some of the rec centers. So in and around Santa Ana, and I'm just really glad to be able to talk to you all today about the questions that you have. So starting off with that very first top question that everyone was voting on. Let's see if I have the exact wording right in front of me. Let's see. Okay, so how do you plan to tackle the homeless issue? What do you not like about the current solutions being put out? Okay, so yeah, homelessness is definitely the biggest issue that I see on a day-to-day basis for the city. Negatively impacts our businesses, our quality of life, the overall sense and actual public safety that we have here in the city. So, number one, about 60% of the people that we have kind of going into our shelters are those that are temporarily homeless. So someone that loses a job, misses rent payments, or just needs some kind of minimum support to get back on their feet. So what we should start doing is having job placement services in the shelters as soon as we get the opportunity to get anyone in there, because then that provides for rapid rehousing. So in the long run, if someone, the longer someone is homeless, the more likely it is that they're going to have additional issues down the line. So if we start having early interventions with people that barely enter the system for the first time, we have much better outcomes overall. But number two, we have a population of individuals that are mentally ill that have no form of permanent supportive housing. So this is somewhere that they can live, that has a roof over the head, where they can be helped out and avoid being on our streets. So a lot of the folks that we kind of see that are the most obviously kind of homeless are folks that are experiencing mental illness. And in the city of Costa Mesa, there's basically 1,000 beds that are sitting unused at the Costa Mesa, I believe it's the Fairview Development Center down there. So even if we only did about 200 to 300 beds that they have out there, it would make a dramatic impact countywide, and especially in our city because of the number of folks that we have here with mental health issues. Number three, whenever we respond to homeless calls for service, we send out police officers, and police officers are great when we have law enforcement and kind of like an arrest needs to be done, and it's really important that we have that. But they're not necessarily equipped to deal with individuals that have severe mental health issues, that might have other contributing factors as to why they're homeless. They can't really spend the amount of time that it takes to develop a kind of a connection, human connection with the person that's on the streets to identify, where is this person job-wise, what type of addiction issues do they have, where are their kind of support networks at. So all these things, we should instead have basically social service workers or outreach workers. And there's some cities that are doing this as models. So Palm Springs, the city of San Diego, and it basically saves the city money because these outreach workers are actually less expensive per hour than we would than having police officers out there, and they have better results in the long run. So again, it's about trying to figure out how to solve it and still save the city money in order to have the right sort of solutions. And number four, though, if we do have people that are having antisocial activities, so like doing drugs in public, harassing other people, attacking, stealing, that sort of thing, we definitely need to make sure that all of our laws are enforced. So that's one of those things where if we strategically deploy our resources, I think we might have much better outcomes. But as item number five, we actually, as the county seat, experience a lot more than our fair share of the homeless problem because the county, and through its regular bureaucracy, actually brings in people through the county jail, right? So if anyone gets arrested countywide and they need to be processed, they end up here in the downtown, and there's no sort of release procedure that we have or any kind of agreement to make sure that the people that are arrested in South County cities go back to those South County cities after they're released. So the city of Lake Forest has an entire kind of legal contract with the county to not have direct release into their community. I think the city should highly and very aggressively pursue that. So it's one of those things where there might be the need for a legal challenge, or I would hope that the county would be able to cooperate with us. But that's one of the things that needs to be on the table right now. And let's see, I think the second part of that question was, what's going right and what do I like and what do I don't like? And what I don't like is that Santa Ana is doing all this, right? So we're the only city that has stepped up to the plate, fully committed to helping this humanitarian crisis that we have in our backyards. And there's a lot of compassion in the city, but at the same time, none of the resources are coming in from the county, from other cities, and no one's really doing their fair share. So that's one of those things where there still needs to be some other county-wide effort to tackle this, and it shouldn't just be in the city. On a positive note, it's one of these things that it's really weird when you actually dig into the data, but the number of homeless individuals that we have that are veterans has actually dramatically gone down. So the reason why that's sort of happened is because we've been able to build permanent supportive housing for our veterans. So one of those examples is going up over on First Street. We've had the county do a few of them as well. But overall, the number of homeless veterans that we have is gone further and further down because we're starting to provide those resources for the people that have been chronically homeless that have basically defended our freedoms here. So that's one of those things that it gives me hope that we can have an effective zero if we keep taking these steps. So that's one positive aspect out of this whole story, and there's some studies on that. You can talk about it a little bit more. Let's see. Question number 2. There is mistrust between residents and law enforcement. Would you be for a law enforcement oversight committee proposed by the council? So the relationship is definitely strained. I can see that in particular subsets of the community for sure. What I would actually like to see is a public safety oversight board, so something that actually deals with public safety as a whole. So right now we basically have about $180 million that goes into our public safety funding just from our general fund, and we have no oversight of that. So it's one of those things that I believe that it's such a big part of our budget that we need to have citizen involvement, not just in when things go wrong, but how to improve the process. What are the things that people would like to see their public safety kind of dollars go to use? Let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do to make this a little bit easier, because it's going to be a very long video, I'm going to break now and restart this question. That way everyone can have their own little video, okay? Yeah, and that was huge. It's 7 minutes.
Yeah, right? You want to do a video for each question? Because it'd be too long of a video, I feel.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's almost like it's like 30 minutes of like sitting down, like, all right, these are the questions. This is where I'm at. Okay. So question 1. Okay. Photo album. All right, and I guess we'll just save them.